Hello friends, welcome to another vlog. Today, as usual, I am super random. I want to get that cape started, but tomorrow I have a silhouette party to go to, but I have like the world's worst wig. For those of you who don't know what a silhouette party is, I went to one a few weeks ago. Zach set it up with a bunch of us. I'll show a picture of our silhouettes here so that you can see what I mean, but there's this guy, Charles, who does these silhouettes and he just like cuts them out while you stand in front of your Zoom camera. So this whole thing is online, obviously. So you just stand there in silhouette against like a window or something and he cuts out your silhouette and then sends it to you, and it's amazing and I love it. But I have this wig that I made to go to France with, and it is the worst possible wig. Like, it is just fugly and icky, and I probably would never wear it again, except that it's fine for a silhouette. But it has become mangy. These curls have completely fallen out. These ones are fine because they'll be under a hat and I just need to fluff them up a bunch and put a hat on it, but gross. So I am attempting to curl them with lock and rolls. For those of you who don't know what these are, they're called lock and rolls. And I buy Remington or Conair depending on who made them. These ones are called, says all that. But they heat up and then they flip. Ooh, that's really hot. The little cage thing flips inside out to be like that once you get it on. So they get pretty hot, so I'm waiting to see what happens. I'm putting them on and letting them cool. I did a test one on this one and it seemed to work, so can't hurt. And the worst that's going to happen is I won't be able to use this wig, which frankly, it's a $10 wig, so who cares? Alright, well, they did work, but they did not work the way I wanted them to. They definitely provide curl, and if these weren't such like long strips of hair that are so heavy, I feel like they would have worked, you know, if they were like this long, that would have been great. But I kind of want this to be big barrel rolls, and I'm not going to get that out of this. But I am impressed that they worked at all. Like, if I had to recurl all this, then I could do it with those, which is neat. So that's cool. And it looks a lot better. It's a much prettier wig now. It's just not what I was going for. So I don't even know if I'm going to use this wig or wear that outfit at this point. I might switch to a different outfit. We shall see. All right, I'm going to clean this up, and then I need to clean my craft room. Of course, always. Always. In a case of being super meta.
Sorry, I should have said at the beginning, if anyone wants to take screenshots or even record the session or anything like that, I'm very happy for you to do that.
We are in a silhouette party with Charles Burns. He's here cutting silhouettes. And Trip is here, Lauren's dog.
You can relax, you're all done. I'm just going to hold this up to the screen. Let me just spotlight my own video so everyone can see it.
Oh, that's perfect. Oh my god.
Oh, that's wonderful.
The earrings too. Oh, that's incredible.
I had to put the earring in. I thought that seemed like a
Oh, thank you so much. That is so beautiful.
And if anyone wants Charles to do this for them, I will leave his information below. Today I'm gonna try and start the American Duchess cape, which I've been looking forward to for quite some time. However, in true Noelle fashion, I'm going to make this probably more difficult than it needs to be. One, I could just enlarge this pattern. It is well known that you can just hit 441% on your printer and print this guy out and tape it together, and it should be the right size. But I have never made a pattern from a grid before, ever, in my whole life. I always use patterns. So I thought this one would be good practice since there's not that many pieces and it's not that complicated and there's not a lot of curves. So it's a good place to start. So in the realm of leveling up and getting better and being stronger, I'm gonna make myself grid this guy out. So my goals for today are to clean my craft room because it is completely trashed. And also go ahead and grid that out. So we'll see how today goes. So I wanted to sit down and chat with you guys for just a minute. I won't take up too much time, but today's a weird day. This whole weekend has been weird. This country is on fire and kind of long overdue, frankly. I'm gonna say the thing, and if it loses me subscribers, it is what it is. But Black Lives Matter. They just do. I know there's a lot of you who think, well, all lives matter. And that's true. But it's not a zero-sum game. It's not about if their lives matter, then not all lives matter. That's not true. Black lives matter, white lives matter, Asian lives matter, all lives do matter. But our Black brothers and sisters need to hear us when we say Black lives matter, because they disproportionately get kind of screwed by our system. So when you hear people who say Black lives matter, don't think that they don't think that all lives matter. Don't think that that's not the case. We're showing support of a specific group of people who really need to hear our voices and get our support right now. I feel the collective pain right now. I feel it very strongly. For those of you who follow my Instagram account and my stories, you've probably seen me posting a lot about it. I've been trying to be as good of an ally as I know how to be, and it's always a learning curve, and there's always mistakes that are going to get made. But the best thing that we can possibly do is be an ally. And being an ally means more than just reposting memes. It means donating to causes that help support the Black community. It means supporting them when they have things to say, hearing their voices, and amplifying those voices when we have a chance. And it means voting, and it means voting well and informed. Don't just wait till the last minute. Go get registered to vote right now. Start researching who is running for office in your area, all the way down to your trash commissioner. Every single level of government matters. And look at the records of the people who you're voting for, and make sure that they fall in line with the things that you believe in. If you believe that all people should be treated equally, then don't vote for a police commissioner who lets things slide. Don't vote for a governor who makes sure that policemen get off for committing what is actually murder. On the subject of the protests, yes, there has been rioting, and frankly, it's kind of overdue. There's 400 years of us treating Black people horribly in this country. From slavery to Jim Crow to whatever the hell's going on now that sure the hell isn't equal. We have to figure out a way to heal this country. We have to figure out a way to stop reposting memes and doing nothing else. We have to figure out a way to change people's minds. And when we can't, we have to figure out a way to enact laws that make sure that everyone is treated equally. And I'm not saying that I hope that police officers kneel on the necks of white people or Asian people or any other people either. I'm saying we need police reform. I'm saying that we need to take a deep, hard look at ourselves and become very uncomfortable with the way that our racism is ingrained in our souls. I have been doing a lot of this for the last couple years, and I understand my white privilege. I understand my inherent racism that is given to me by my culture. I understand that my feelings are very uncomfortable sometimes, and I am sitting here and being with my feelings. I would encourage you guys to look within yourselves and also the people around you and have the discussions and think about what it is that you can do. Can you support Black businesses? Can you support Asian businesses? Can you donate money to causes that will help train police officers to de-escalate rather than use force? Can you go door to door and help petition for different police commissioners, different governors, different mayors, different people who will support all people together, but specifically Black people? They need to hear the words specifically Black people. I have this platform and I have the attention of a few thousand of you each week, and I know that most of you agree with me, and I know most of you do the right thing almost all of the time. But if I can get through to even just one of you to sit down and take a deep look and understand the pain of this entire group of people, I will feel like it was worth it. That's all I'm going to say on the matter right now. We can get back to sewing. But it is very important for you also, those of you who have platforms, to use them to help spread the word. It's not a time to be afraid of losing followers or being political on camera. It's not political. It's about saving lives, and it's about treating people humanely, and it's about the fact that you're not comfortable. There's a video going around that says, stand up if you would feel comfortable being treated the way that Black people in America are treated. No one stood up. I think it's time for all of us to stand up. Okay, now that I've gotten that off my chest, I will leave it with you to think about. Let's do some fun mail. Let's have some distraction time, because this stuff is heavy. And while I'm here for the heavy, like I really am, I'm also here for like, sometimes you need a break. So let's do that. I bought some mitts in the Penny River costumes sale. So they are partially done, I think is what happened. This is her Penny River costumes. Let me do that little advertisement for you guys so that you know where to get cool stuff. I think I should just do like a gift giving guide or a historical costuming shopping guide or something, because people keep asking me where I get stuff and I'm like, oh these are pretty. So they're white and they have blue silk in here, and the important thing here is she has already done the thumb. So all I have to do is basically size it, like make sure it's my right size, because my hands are massive, like I have giant paws. So as long as I can size it, then I can mark it and then just sew up the seam, and then I get a pair of mitts, which I didn't have to do most of the work for, so awesome. All that talk about needles before got me in the mood, so I ordered a couple needle books. This lot was available and then they put it on, here's a little pro tip. On eBay, go find the thing you want and watch it, like do the add to my watch list, and then a lot of times, like not always, but a lot of times, I get offers if I watch it for a while, which discount the product because they want to move it. So they'll say, hey, I'll knock 20% off. So that was the case with this lot. So I think I got this entire lot of needles for like $7. So it's this book here. And it's pretty pristine with needles. So that's exciting. And then these guys are super cute. They have a bunch of darning needles, and then this is a needle threader, and then these are all different sizes of needles that are just sort of floating around in there, and this is exactly the same thing except pink. It looks peach on my camera back, but it is actually pink. This is what the backs of them look like. This war pack thing I find very interesting. I've also seen them called ration packs, so they are super big on them being British made needles. So this came with this little bunch of tiny needles, which I think is super cute and I'm into. I guess they probably would have had to ration the metal even to make needles, which are, I think, nickel usually. That's how you get them to not rust, maybe. And then this pack of sharps, I don't know if there's actually still 20 in here, but cool. Man, 20 sharps, size 7 were 10 cents. That's pretty awesome. This is also, I am about to lose this, British made. There's something about English needles. I also found for, I think, $7 a wad of silk thread. I collect antique thread, but interestingly, I only collect silk and buttonhole twist silk thread. Over here, an entire apothecary jar full of buttonhole twist. That's all antique silk. And I think I have actually a little bit more coming on the way. I don't buy it very often, but when I see a lot that's like pretty, like the $7 for this is a great price. So this I find actually happens a lot. The reason there's so many threads coming off of this is they basically probably had a little bit extra on another spool and they just wrapped it onto this, but they wrap it like unbelievably perfectly. It's crazy to look at, like. But yeah, so there's a couple of different threads in here. So usually what I do if I'm going to use it is I pull off the short one and I use that to hand sew. Make sure if you buy vintage thread to test it pretty well though, because it does degrade over time. I a lot of times just have these for looking at. They add to the aesthetic. And then lastly, I got this package from Saltwater Notions on Etsy. Super suggest this place. It's Saltwater Notions, all one word, .etsy.com. And so this is piping. It is the carnival piping of my dreams. I really feel like I probably should have told Christine about this for her black and white striped dress, but too late. I also got a bunch of yardage of, I think this is like 5 meters maybe, or 4.7 meters of this like insertion lace that would be really great for the bottom of a petticoat. I just thought it was really pretty. This cotton, people, is the softest cotton I have felt in so long. Like, I want all of my clothes to be made out of this. I want to know what this cotton is. I want to know how I can order it. It is so soft and beautiful, and it's fairly, I mean, you can see my finger through it, but it's definitely not like transparent by any standard. Ugh, I love it. And then I got this guy, which is a fashion plate of Fancy Dress from 1889, and I just thought that this was so cute, and I obviously collect fashion plates, so I thought this one was really cute to add to my collection. And lastly, this cool postcard, which is like super metallic. Like, you can kind of see that. And it's a lady in her bonnet, which I just thought was really neat. Like, this postcard was really cool. There's an intruder. A wild Charlotte has appeared. The fluffer butter. The tiny terror. Charlotte, what are you doing? You're okay. Everything's okay. You're okay. This is the normal scene. Keanu, have a little nap in the hallway. Charlotte. Oh, we have these things in our house, which are cutouts in the wall. Although this one's like unfinished. Normally they're super finished, but there's a giant box that's inside my husband's closet because that's our bedroom closet. And this creates like a little hidey hole that they can hole up in. There's one in the bathroom downstairs that's fully tiled. It has a fan and an automatic light that comes on both when the cat steps into it, and you can put a box in there. So basically there's a box in our bathroom, but it's set into the wall and you access it through the garage. It's crazy. Alright, my floor is now cleaner. I did not do the full clean. I did the stage 1 clean, which means I bring the vacuum in here and I vacuum very well. The stage 2 clean is when I pull everything out of the room and then vacuum and then mop, and it's just a giant fiasco. And as much as I kind of want to do that right now, I'm like, yeah, let me get through one more project. Usually I do that every 2 projects and I just do a simple vacuum in between. I'm a cleaning nerd though, as you can tell, like, I'm into it. I did print up this cape pattern. What I would say if you're going to print this out, because I like a hard copy, is that you don't need this first page. You kind of don't even really need the pattern. You could do this like on your computer because it's not actually very complicated. And that's 2 pages of it. You would want the instructions, which is pages 4, 5, and 6. And then the last page is just pictures. So if you don't want to waste your printer ink like I did, you could literally just print 4, 5, and 6, or 2 through 6, and you would be all good. Anyway, I am going to attempt to make a pattern from a grid. Also, this will be the first time I've actually ever made a pattern that didn't have seam allowance on it, which is cool. I am going to make a mock-up of this because I am a woman of fluff, and I have heard around the block that you might need to extend the wrap pieces a little bit for this, or use maybe ribbon ties, which I have a ton of ribbon, so I might do that. I still don't know which wool I'm going to use for this. I have a feeling that if this cape works out, I'm gonna make a few of them, so I'm not really that hung up on which wool I'm gonna use right now because I'll just make more. I also think if this cape works out and it's not a big deal to make it, this would make an outstanding Christmas present for someone. So I'm thinking that might be a thing. Alright, so I'm gonna go take some hay fever medicine because, man, I'm like stuffy. I can't breathe at all. I feel like I'm like... So I'm gonna go do that, and then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna get out my dot paper and give this a go for the first time. Wish me luck. So we just got an emergency alert that says we have a curfew for the next 7 days from 8:30 p.m. to 5 a.m. Fun times. Alright, so this first piece is very square, which is woo-woo for my first one. And it's only 9 inches wide, so I just cut my paper 9 inches wide up there, and then I just really have to figure out this top part, and we have a pattern piece. And then these are both under 9 inch wide, so I can probably pattern at least one of these out of the scrap that's at the bottom of that. Alrighty, I have gone for a walk because we have that curfew, so I wanted to get my walk in earlier. And I've also made this front one. It wasn't too horrible. I figured it out. it's not that bad. So, woo. Okay, I'm just gonna go make the rest of these pieces. There's only 5. This last sleeve pattern one has me the most concerned, but honestly, it's just counting boxes. So you can do it literally frame by frame if you want to, because you could just go, it's over 1, up 1, over 1, up 1, like through this whole thing, and just keep making marks. And so it's not actually that bad. Way better than those patterns that don't have a grid on them and they just give you a bunch of measurements, like the distance between here and here is this, and the distance between here and here is this, and here is this. Figure it out. And you're like, cool. And I'm heavily annoyed by curling fabric, so I'm just going to iron this on the lowest setting and use pattern weights to hold it while it cools down, and then it won't be curly anymore. Shout out to Marika for these totally badass paperweights that she has made me. Pattern weights. I love these YouTube ones, those are super cute. And she made me a bunch of these. I don't know if you guys saw that vlog, but then Morgan and I swapped one. So these were Morgan's, and so I gave her a bustle dress and she gave me a mushroom. So now we have a piece of each other. Okay, I've got 2 more pieces done and ready to cut out. I also found out that this curve sucks, so I went to this one, which is much better for stuff like this and lets you have a smooth line there. So, yep. Making progress, got 1 more piece to do, and then I have the pattern all cut out. Alrighty, we have a sleeve done. So I have all the pattern pieces. I just need to iron this baby and let it sit for a minute, and then we should be all good. And then I will cut out muslin so that I can try this out and see what happens in a muslin format. I did want to say thank you guys very much for all your kind words about Dakota last week. Yeah. It is what it is. A lot of you were like, oh, it sounds like thyroid. It does sound like thyroid, but trust me, my vet is competent. I've also spent thousands and thousands of dollars on tests, like tests that had to get sent off to other countries to get done. There's a whole bunch of different blood work that got done in about 8 different rounds, and a bunch of it comes out conflicting. Like 2 things are happening that should never happen at the same time. So my vet spent like weeks reading scientific journals about it and asking his peers and sending the blood work around to other vets also. When I tell you that they do not know what's wrong with her, they do not know what's wrong with her. Thyroid is not the thing. It's the simplest answer, and it's the first thing that any like competent vet would check. Even I know that because I've had cats that have had thyroid issues and I've had to medicate them for their whole lives about it. So trust me, this has been like heavily investigated and it is not a simple answer, but it doesn't really matter because they can't figure it out and they can't medicate her for something they can't figure out. So yeah, I just have to wait. But we're giving her the best life we can and we're giving her as much love as possible. So she has a nice soft place to sleep, even though sometimes she sleeps under the bed and we're like, what are you doing? We have hardwood floors. Like, stop that. You sleep on the bed. And she eats and drinks whenever she wants, and she's fairly happy, and she purrs for us all the time, so we're just gonna keep on keeping on until she stops doing that. It is tomorrow. I have all 5 pieces cut out. Hopefully right. I don't know. So I'm not gonna lie to you. There was mess ups. Like I patterned like this side of the sleeve, and then I got up to this side of the sleeve and I started doing the top, and I was like marking them as I went, like every time it crossed an inch mark, and I was like, yep, that doesn't line up. So like you can kind of see where I drew another line in that was wrong. Like, yeah, that's why I would do this in pencil. You know, I don't know that it's perfect, but we're gonna find out. Anyway, as far first attempts go, I mean, I didn't think that was that bad. I didn't really have very much of a problem other than the sleeve, where I was like halfway through I just redid it. It's not even like it's math, it's like counting. Like, can you count to 23? No, I can't apparently. We got it done though, it's fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut mock-up fabric today and sew it together and hopefully have a mock-up to see. Oh, that was one thing I did without really explaining. So these are the wrap parts, and they tell you if you're full or busted, the thing that might happen is you might need more wrap. So I extended the entire thing by 3 inches, just out the gate. I looked at it and was like, that's not going to be long enough to go around me. So I'm actually not planning on it terminating at like a place where it can just hook and bar together, I'm probably just going to put some silk ties into it so that I can tie it back there and all will be well no matter how big or small I get. But I did extend them by 3 inches each, which actually adds 6 inches. So now that I think about that, that might have not been the best idea, but that's what this mock-up is going to do. And the worst thing that's going to happen is that right? 6 inches? Yep, it is. Is that I'll just cut off an inch or cut off another inch or cut off another inch, so it's fine. So I just started out doing that. I talked to a bunch of other people who have measurements close to mine, and that basically they just said, oh, I added some length to this guy. A bunch of people also did say that they added length to the cape itself, so I'm going to do a mock-up so I can find out if I want to do that. Okay, in the realm of Noelle has to learn everything the hard way, so I realized the reason that you usually cut them individually is so that you can draw them individually, because if you don't, you have to take the pattern piece off and figure out where the exact line is to put the pattern piece back on in order to retrace it on the other side, because you still need the lines on both of them. And like on this one I did them the same way, which was dumb. Like this should be on this side and the drawing should be on this side on this one. It's okay, I can see it, so it's fine, but these are things you learn. Okay, we have a pajamas mock-up try-on. I would say I'm glad that I added the 3 inches per side to the straps. I could actually add more if I wanted them to actually meet, but I don't really care. I have a ribbon in there that is designed to tie in the back so that I don't have to worry about it being exact, which is fantastic. It's much better when I have my shoulders down. There's still this like weird thing that I've seen on a lot of other people too, where it gaps over your boob right here. This is really a thing made for flat-chested people, I think, because the second you have any boobage, this problem happens. So it's fine when you're not holding a camera up, but it's not long-term wonderful. But I think it's pretty good for a cape. It does have these weird, the shoulder seams are really weird. They're like really far forward, but I looked at everybody else's pictures and they're all really far forward in theirs. And the shoulder is really high, like really high. My shoulder seam is here on my shirt and it's way up here on this thing. So cool, but it does look like the picture. So other than this, whatever, like, I feel like I could put baby in here or something. Maybe I could, I don't know, put snacks in there. Yeah, other than that, I mean, I think it's great. Like, everybody keeps having this problem, which you were not gonna be able to see. I don't know why I'm turning to show you this. The side seam is 1 inch longer. Oh, there you go. Wait, can you see it? Yeah. There's my pajamas. The side is 1 inch longer than the back, and everybody says this, so I'm like, okay, cool. So I'll just add 1 inch to the back, so that should solve that problem. And I think once it's in wool, it'll be a little more stretchy and like sort of forgiving. So that'll probably help. But yeah, I mean, I like it. It is what it's advertised. So cool. Tomorrow I will cut out the fashion fabric, make a little bit of pattern adjusting things. I wonder if I could like take a dart right here. I mean, that's what I feel like it needs. It needs to be like that. To like cup your bosom, but I don't even know how you would like make that happen consistently. I don't know how you'd make that happen consistently every time, so we're gonna depend on the stretchiness of wool. I depend on the stretchiness of wool. Yeah, so I will handle this tomorrow and we'll see how it goes. Hello, I am showered and it is actually 2 days later. Is that right? It's not the day after. I took yesterday off. I would love to be all distractions and light and everything right now, and I'm trying to be. But I'm human, and yesterday was a very low spoon day. For those of you who don't know what spoon theory is, it's usually used by people who have like chronic illnesses, and it's a way to give you a metaphor for how much energy they have. If you look up spoon theory on Wikipedia, that'll give you a lot of information about it. But yeah, I spent yesterday amplifying voices on my Instagram account and donating money and signing petitions and doing all the things that I feel comfortable doing right now. So yeah, I was also spending a lot of time thinking about this cape, and I'm like, it is not right, and I don't want to waste wool on something that's not right, which sucks. I have seen a lot of these capes either look great because they're on people who are the exact size measurements, which, you know, they say it's a one size fits all cape. It is not. That's not a thing, just so everyone's clear. Like only very thin people think that. But yeah, it does need some adjustments, and I don't really want to make another pattern and a mock-up, but we're gonna do that because we're here to learn the things and do the hard things. So I'm gonna distract myself today and make myself feel better by trying to knock out some pattern adjustments and make another mock-up and try it on and see if we can get to a place of comfort where I feel good about the size of this cape and how it fits on me, because I would love to be able to make a few of these. I think it would be fun. My husband is having this really loud meeting downstairs. Ugh. Okay, so I got a Lady to Tell order. She was having a sale during Memorial Day, and I got 2 grab bag items. This one is pearls with silver findings, which, let's just say Hannah said that these were salacious, and I agree with her, and they have a code name now. I'm not gonna say that on camera. These guys. So I'm not sure what I think about them. I can't figure out if I love them or I think they're really weird. But I do know that I could, in fact, separate them. I think they're a bit long for what I would wear on a normal. So I think what I'm gonna do is separate them so that there's an earring that is just these. I think these are tanzanite. And they're beautiful. And then another one that are just the grapes. And I love those grapes. I think they're super cute. So I'm going to get another pair of earrings out of this, which is fantastic. These are great for Regency. And, you know, jewels always good. I think the grapes are also good for Regency on through Victorian. Also, these. So she had 2 pairs of these, which were actually samples that she was making because she's going to make a lot more of these, I think, in the future. And they are based on the Emma movie. Like, Emma was wearing earrings that look almost exactly like this. Anyway, she only had 2, so I bought a pair, and then I was like, oh, it's my friend Hannah's birthday, and she really liked them, so I picked up the other pair for her too. So I am a greedy bastard, but here we are. Also, this is the cutest thing ever. It's a tape measure that looks like a candy. Like, oh, that's so cute. Here is the info for Lady to Tall. I also got a little love note from my girl Constance, who sent me this beautiful postcard, which will go up on my board, and a strawberry pin cushion, which I think is the cutest thing ever. Some hooks and eyes. This is like the cutest little package. It looks like when you're a kid and you get weird candy, they come in packages like this. I don't know. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? If you know what I'm talking about, leave a comment. Also, some silk. And I think this ribby silk right here in particular, I'm like, can I get this so you can actually see what it looks like? Yeah, it's kind of ribby. I think this would make an amazing Spencer. So I might make a Spencer out of it. I think she said it was a yard or 2. So I think it should be enough, but I'll obviously measure it before that happens. And then I'm not sure how much of this there is, but I will maybe use it for the lining. That might be cool. I also might use it to make a reticule or something. We shall see. Alrighty, let's see if we can talk this through. So, this seam here, I feel like is too far forward. Although on most people it's pretty far forward. But when you look at where the shoulder is, which is like way up here, Morgan's shoulder is like on her shoulder. And I'm like, oh, I would like my shoulder to be on my shoulder. So I don't think I accomplished that with the change I just made, but I got it closer. The back is also not wide enough. Like, that's very difficult for you guys to see, but that seam is just too far in. So what I'm doing is adding an inch to each of the pieces, but I added it in the center back, so it actually adds 2 inches, like 1 inch on each side. The sleeve part I think is probably fine. And I'm adding about an inch or so to the shoulder seam so that it comes out farther, because I think that will help. So I'm gonna take the sleeve off and I'm gonna use these again. And then I'm gonna recut the back piece and this guy. Oh, I should talk about that. Let me go back here. So also these gape like tremendously. Like, you can see how gapey this is. Like, I could literally pinch this out. And that's a possibility. I might actually pinch some of it out. But the first thing I'm going to try is taking these darts, which I actually, if you'll remember, moved. So I made the whole thing 3 inches longer, but I let the darts also be 3 inches longer. Like, I let that be part of it. So what I'm actually going to do is move these darts back down 3 inches so they start lower. And I think that will make it pull together more over the bust, and therefore maybe not gape so much there, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't know what's gonna happen, so I'm gonna try it and we're gonna find out. So here you can see I've added an inch to the center back, and then also I moved the neckline over and added at least an inch this way because it got added from this. So what I'm going to do is mark an inch on my shoulder and see where that seam would be. I also need to true up the width of the seam here and here because they're not the same. And they're actually not the same on the pattern. When you hold a ruler up to this guy, you can see that that seam is slightly less than an inch on my ruler. And if I put it here, it's actually slightly more than an inch. And when you're talking about these grids that blow up 441%, it ends up that, you know, there's this much difference. So I need to true that up and make sure that they are the right length to actually meet up with each other. So I'm going to do some of that stuff too. So I'm just playing around with the patterning a little bit. I don't know what I'm doing. Like I said, this is the first time I've had to make a pattern off a grid myself. And I don't usually have to do that many pattern adjustments, so this is a new and exciting thing for me, and we're learning as we go. But I did check these like thoughts out with both Morgan and Constance, and they both think that these are good ideas. So we're just gonna go ahead. Alrighty, we have good news and we have bad news. The good news is the shoulder is better. The bad news is I think it needs like another inch, because my shoulder point is actually like here, and it still sits kind of funny, and I think I would love it to sit another like inch out on each side. So yeah, so this moving the darts down didn't really do that much. Like, it still does this weird, like, I can stick a baby squirrel in here, no problem. I know when I add the inch, I need to add it to both shoulder pieces. It'll make the back wider for sure. I don't actually think I want to add more stuff here because I don't know that I need that much like here. I know I need it over here. So I think I might slash the pattern like this way and just move this whole thing out, if that makes sense. I don't know, I've never done it that way, but I think it's a possible way to do it. I do enjoy this Doctor Strange level collar that's going on right now. I wonder if I can just like flip it up and be super badass. Yeah, that's what I'm talking. Oh, that's even better. Yeah, I'm gonna wear it like that. So yeah, there's like this whole bit of fabric here that I just like don't need, and I'm wondering if I can somehow get that out of the pattern. Okay, I have added another inch to the back piece by slashing and spreading here so that I don't have to recut the neck again. So cool. And then I have added an inch here because if I slash and spread this, I need an inch here to go here. But I did think earlier that I wanted a little bit more space this way right here also. So I feel like this is going to be good. I had a talk with Jalea, who also has a YouTube channel. I will link her down below. And she suggested that what she did actually was to like get the shoulder seams all sorted and whatever, and then physically later take this piece and literally curve it so that it's not straight, which I don't think is a bad idea. She also said what she did was take these darts, basically don't put them in, and then curve it, put it on you, and then figure out where the darts want to be, which seems like a lot of work, so I commend her on that. I might end up doing that, but I'm going to do this one in this way, the normal way, and see how it goes and see what it looks like. And if it all looks good, but this is still a mess, then maybe I'll take these off and do them again. I just want to make sure I got my shoulder seam in the right spot and feel comfortable with that before I start mucking about with this business. So I think there's going to be more mock-ups. God, I thought this project was going to be easy. Why do I always think that these projects are going to be easy, but they're not? They end up being just like a crazy learning experience. Anyway, I'm going to get going on cutting some fabric for this. Okay, it's Saturday. It's been a couple days. I basically got distracted and wandered off, and then tried yesterday, but then watched a Disney movie with my girls instead. So cool. That's where we are. I'm gonna sew today. We're gonna get this maybe last mock-up, but probably not, knowing the way this is going, done. I've cut out the pieces. I've made the pattern alterations. This alteration is bizarre. I've never seen one done on a 45 before. Well, it's more of a pie opening to spread this apart, but I also did want more width here. This is how, if you're a programmer slash work on the web and are a web producer, you work. You go back to where the mistake was and you start again adding things back in. You don't try to do all the things together, usually. This is how bug fixing works. Also, for those of you who are wondering about my surface, it is actually doing just fine. The complete rewipe, it has had one or two incidences where it gave me a blue screen once, and it also did the crazy screen ones, but for the most part it's behaving normally. So I think there is a hardware issue, which sucks, but it is mostly fine, question mark. It's a computer, they do crash. Alright, here I am with my headphones on because I am listening to this story. That's way better. Like, way better. I added an half an inch or so to the bottom there, but I clearly need to add more. I think I'm gonna add more to the back and then just cut it off so it's even when it's done. The straps are okay. I don't love them, but I also kind of don't hate them. I think they're fine. Like, this gapping is annoying, but I also think maybe in wool it'll be a little bit different. I'm kind of willing to make one real one in wool to see if that holds up. And if it doesn't, then I'll start mucking with this for like any future one that I make, but I think it'll be okay. So I kind of feel like I'm ready to go, which is good because I would like to stop making mock-ups. This is mock-up number 4 and I'm kind of over it. Alrighty, so I'm going to add another inch to this. There appears to be a bunch of paper on here, so maybe I'll just untape this and then just scoot it down, essentially. So yeah, that should be easy peasy. And then I have to come to the conclusion about what fabric I'm going to make this out of, so then I need to dig out a bunch of wool and look at it and see which ones I want to do. So that's where we're at. Alrighty, so one, I have this wool that I just used for my vest, so you guys are all very familiar with that wool. And then I have this wool and viscose blend goes with it sort of fabric. It was bought at the same time because these two colors go together. I also have green that goes with this, and I have a bunch more of this as well. But I thought that this would be a nice cape to go first, and I think I'm not going to use the contrast piece of lining on the collar, and I'm going to make it so that it's completely reversible. So hopefully it'll be super cute. Okay, I have the one side completely cut out and marked, and the other side is completely cut out and mostly marked, although that's a lie. The first side does need the darts marked. And I will do that tomorrow because I am tired and I just did a lot of cutting and now I don't wanna, so I'm gonna go watch Star Wars like a boss. Okay, it's Sunday and we have some chaos in the atelier today. This is for podcasting. So Morgan and I are going to record our podcast today. So I have set up this arm thing, which is going to make podcasting a lot better for me. So I'm really pumped on it. I'm also offloading all the files that are already in this vlog that you're watching. So I have a second card in, and I am considering going to the other side of the table and finishing marking all of the pieces that need to be finished marking so that I can sew these together. Basically what has to happen here is I'm going to make 2 capes and then I'm going to sew them together to basically bag line them, and it will make it completely reversible and fully lined, which will be lovely. So that is what was going on in here today. It's a little bit of chaos, but that's kind of how it is normally. Future Noelle popping in because I'm editing right now and I realized I probably didn't tell you about the whole podcast thing. I know I told Patreon, but I haven't told you guys yet. So Morgan and I are recording a podcast. It is not a sewing podcast or a costuming podcast. It's a book club because we both like to read genre books. So we are, and by genre, I don't even know what that means. Like anything but literature, basically, because anything is genre. Anyway, we are recording a podcast. We are reading books and then talking about them. So we have not launched this thing yet. I'm not sure when we're going to launch it, but I have a feeling it'll be kind of soon because we have about 4 books read. We have 3 podcasts done. So yeah, it'll be like a monthly thing where there'll be a podcast available. Our Patreon members for both of us will get access to that first. So if you're a person who likes first access, that's a thing you can get. But yeah, I feel like I buried the lead there. Sorry about that. I kind of forgot that I hadn't told you guys yet. So yeah, for everyone who's sitting here going, wait, what? To that last clip, that's what's going on. Yeah, it's really fun. I enjoy talking to Morgan about the books, and it's fun to record that and put it up for you guys. So hopefully people will enjoy it. Okie dokie. I have a one of the 2 capes. Like this is, there is no lining and no outside. They're both outside and both lining. So there's one of them. And I have the collar prepared to go in whenever that is. So I just need to do the other one. I also did record the podcast with Morgan today, so that took a few hours, but we're all good. So I guess I'm gonna just come back in tomorrow and get the second one knocked out and then hopefully get them together and call it good. It's looking good so far. Hello. It's Monday. I am gonna go sew the second of the 2 capes. There's the first again. And then sew them together. In the meantime, I'm also gonna talk to the bestie. I need to mark and sew the darts. So cool. This is my least favorite part of this, and I've done it 1,000,000 times because it's the thing that I was focusing on a lot in the mock-ups. So I'm like, okay, darts. Although the darts on that one came out really well. Like they followed the line like perfectly. I was like, yeah, I got it. I feel so good about those darts. Okay, so I have the second one done and I am letting it hang a little bit because it is, some parts of it are cut on the bias. So it's smart to let it hang for a bit. I am taking this one currently and ironing out the shoulders and cutting back seam allowances and doing that kind of stuff to it right now. And then we'll attach them to each other and then let them hang together probably. What a good boy he is. I vacuumed in here like literally 2 days ago and it's already like completely trashed with all these little bits. Anyway, I've got the side and the arm things, whatever those are, and the top all pinned. I haven't done the bottom. I might let that hang overnight. I'm not sure. Like part of me just wants to finish this and part of me is like, do it right. So probably I'll do it right and let it hang. But I'm getting this all together and then I'll press that all in, and those scissors right there are pinking shears, which are getting kind of not sharp, so I'm going to take them in maybe tomorrow to get sharpened, so we'll see. It's the last day of this vlog. You know how I know? Because I only have one more thing to do. One more instruction. Actually, there's a bunch of stuff to do, but whatever. What happened today so far? I went to the sewing place that I go to. It's Ray's Sewing Machine for anyone in the Bay Area. And I had him sharpen all my scissors, including all my pinking shears. These ones, like, still don't cut very well, so I will put them somewhere else so I don't use them, and maybe take them back and get them sharpened again. I'm not sure. He said these ones are, like, really old, so, hey. And these ones are cheap, but they actually cut the best. This pair is really cool because it's scalloped, so it's curved. That's pretty neat. So yeah, so now I have sharp scissors again, and that makes me happy. I will also clean this out and put a new needle on. What happened here? The wool, so this one on the top is wool and viscose, and the bottom layer is pure wool. And that predictably dropped more than the regular, so I'm happy I hung it. So I'm just gonna go and mark this and then sew up the bottom, leaving a hole to turn it, and then turn it inside out and press it within an inch of its life and call it done. Woo woo! Alrighty, in this week's episode of Duh Noelle, so I just barely won the race here with the with the amount of thread I had, and I don't have any more that's even close to this color, surprisingly, because this is like one of my favorite colors, so how do I not have thread that's this color? But I realized I have on my bobbins for my old machine, which is not this machine, and somehow takes different bobbins, although you can use them. I have a bobbin full of thread, and I was like, oh, I could probably just use this. So that's what I'm doing right now, just to finish up the bottom of this, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, it's all right side out and whatever. So now I'm going to pin every seam all the way around it as tight as possible, and iron the crap out of it to make it be as smooth as possible. I would normally think about top stitching this, but I don't have any more thread for this, and I don't really want to go out and get it, so this is gonna have to do. So I'll be doing this for the next several hours. Alrighty, there she be. I am pretty happy with her, actually, so woo. This is what she looks like from the back. I'm pretty happy with her. This looks uneven a bit, but I don't think it actually is. I think it's just how the shoulders are sitting, because the shoulder sits in a little bit more than that one does right now, so I'm not that concerned about it, but I am pleased with how it turned out. Let me flip it inside out and I'll show you the other way. And there she is from the other direction. I like them both. I like this one a lot because it gives little flashes of tartan, and that's really cute. I would wear it both ways. The only thing that I'm at all bummed about the entire thing is like this gaping situation that happens. The higher you wear it, the less it gapes. So I just have to sort of keep that in mind, but overall very pleased with her. It has occurred to me that you guys would probably want to see what this looks like on the actual me and not just my mannequin. So here you go. I think it's cute. I like it. I feel good about it. I'm still a little like irked about this little gapey bit right here, but it is what it is, and I can mess with this pattern later when I get more experience and know how to curve this in the right way that will also preserve these pleats. So I'm not sure how that's gonna go down, but I'll find that out and make it a project some other time. But it does fit really well. It fits really well along the shoulder line. It feels heavy and good, but not too heavy. I love it. And with that, I'm going to call this 2-week-long vlog done. I didn't put up a vlog last week because I was participating in a week of suppressing my own content so that other voices may become louder. So that is why that wasn't there. It didn't feel appropriate. Even if I wasn't participating in that, it just seemed like not the right time to be putting up cape stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed getting it all in one vlog for once and got to see the whole process happen sort of real time, but not. Anyway, if you're new here, please do get on below and leave me a message and let me know who you are and what you're into and all that stuff. I love talking to new people in the comment section. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you guys next time with another vlog. Bye guys!